Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you, Dex Rowe, and welcome everyone to another special Christmas edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I'm Barry Slinker, and we will continue with our salute to Christmas this week as we hear episodes from the New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes from 1945, followed by an episode from Tales of the Texas Rangers from 1950, and lastly we'll hear from Vincent Price and The Saint from 1950. Kicking off this week is an episode from the Fibber, McGee, and Molly Show. Fibber goes snooping around in the hall closet looking at all the presents and finds one neither he nor Molly know anything about. While Fibber tries to figure it out, Molly ends up letting him open up a couple of his presents. From December 19th, 1944, this is the Fibber, McGee, and Molly Show with early Christmas presents.
Johnson Wax program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax for home and industry present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The holiday season is a time when you want your home as bright and cheerful as you can make it. It's a time that proves, as much as any other, the value of protective wax housekeeping. If your floors, furniture, and woodwork have been waxed regularly with Johnson's Wax, then it's a very easy matter to put on the finishing touches and have that richly polished kind of home that everyone admires. There are many accessories from one end of the house to the other that you can protect and beautify with Johnson's Wax, either paste, liquid, or cream. Your windowsills, for example, picture frames, ornaments, lampshades, Venetian blinds, refrigerator. Well, many of you know the list as well as I. When you wax all these surfaces, you protect them because the wax itself takes the wear and the surface underneath is safe. When you go over your house tomorrow, try out several of these extra uses for Johnson's Wax. 3 of the most curious things in the world are the gyroscope, the pyramids, and the Squire of 79 Wistful Vista. And if you don't think he's curious, get a load of him sneaking a peek into the hall closet as we join Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look at all these Christmas presents. From Molly to Fibber with love. To Fibber from Molly with best wishes. To the best husband a woman ever had. Wonder who that's for. I thought I was the only husband she ever... Oh, well. Uh-oh. An envelope. Do not open before Christmas. Looks like it might be a war bond. Flap isn't sealed very tight either. If somebody's thumb ever get Ever got caught in there, it'd flip open like a... Oh, my goodness, it did it. Well, maybe she didn't even mean to seal it. And if it ain't sealed, I suppose it's okay to read it. My dear husband, get out of this hall closet and stop snooping. I like that. To think she'd think that I'd think of stooping to snoop when she...
McGee! McGee, where are you?
Oh, caught in the act. I better put this stuff back in here fast. This must be the new belt I've been hinting about. I hope this is a fountain pen. If this isn't a sweater,
McGee, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get the door closed on the hall closet, Molly. It's so full of stuff, it's sprung open. Aha! I got it. That was quick thinking, McGee, old man. If she ever caught you doing that stuff... Well, Dad, read it. I got to straighten out that closet right after Christmas.
McGee, what goes on here? I told you to stay away from that hall closet. You're much too snoopy.
Why, Molly, do you mean to stand there in one of the best-looking house dresses I ever saw and accuse your own husband by marriage of snooping?
Ah, dearie, you can pump up more phony indignation than Donald Duck. Now get all that stuff put back in the closet. No, you better let me do it.
Something in there you don't want me to see, baby?
Well, if there was and I didn't and you already had, what's the difference?
I didn't unwrap a thing. I never even shook anything. Only thing that even aroused my curiosity is that big white package with the blue ribbon on it.
I don't remember any big white package with any blue... McGee, stop peering over my shoulder. Go read the paper.
Okay, but gee whiz, why can't...
Oh, hello, Alice.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hiya, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Alice. Hey, what'd you do to your hair?
Well, she's just wearing it differently, McGee. Himself here is getting very observant with Christmas coming on, Alice. Ordinarily, you could wear your scalp full of neon lights and he'd never notice it.
You like my hair with the buns over the ears, Mr. McGee?
Yes, I do, kid. I like the buns over the ears much better than that old sweet roll on top. Or that apple strudel you used to have falling down in back.
My hairdresser says they're wearing it this way in Paris now.
It's a nice hairdo, Alice. What do they call it?
Hair Hitler. because it's more trouble than it's worth.
Yes, I think so, too. You got your Christmas counter crashing off done, Alice?
Creepers, I thought I had, Mr. McGee, but now I'm as confused as a kangaroo at a pickpockets convention.
Why, dear?
Well, I had a terrific billfold for Harold, but I had to change the tag to Ronnie because I'm giving Ronnie's cufflinks to Rick to take the place of Rick's cigarette lighter because I quick had to give the lighter to Jimmy when he showed up here last night with a simply super pair of earrings for me.
That is a little complicated, isn't it?
That's like the year when McGee gave me nothing but napkins and handkerchiefs, pillowcases, and tablecloths for Christmas. He took the laundry list downtown instead of the shopping list.
Well, gee whiz, how
Alice, we're not doing very much for Christmas this year. The Treasury Department had beat Santa Claus down the chimney.
Well, I told all the boys not to spend their money foolishly on things for me this year. I told them all to take whatever money they intended to spend on me and put it in war bonds.
Good for you, Alice. Use the boys' dough to back up the doughboys.
Certainly. Anyway, I just as soon they gave me war bonds as anything else. Well, I've got to get back to the post office. Goodbye.
There's a girl who has her heart in the right place. On her sleeve.
I don't know. She's a lot like I was when I was a girl, McGee. Except that she has 20 boyfriends and I just had you.
Yeah, well, that wasn't because you were unpopular, Snooky. That was because there was an ugly rumor around Peoria that McGee had put a bear trap in Molly Driscoll's porch swing.
That was more than a rumor, sweetheart. For 15 years after that, my father never sat down without first slapping the chair with his cane. Now, listen, go away while I get this stuff back in the closet.
How about that white package with the blue ribbon on it?
McGee, I swear I know absolutely nothing about that.
You wouldn't kid me, would you? After all, when mysterious packages are hid away in a closet...
Heavenly days, what was that?
My belt. It busted. Remember how I've been telling you my belt was on its last legs?
Well, it's a funny place to wear a belt. But I do remember your mentioning it several times.
Looked awful, too. Supposed to have been genuine calf, but I'll bet a cookie its mother was a paper mill. Doggone it, my last belt, too. Oh, well, I can wear a necktie around my waist so I can get downtown and buy a new one.
All right, dearie, all right. You win. Here, open this package.
Why, this is a Christmas package. Gee, I shouldn't open this till Christmas.
Open it.
Well, okay. Well, what do you know? A new belt.
Sure.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle if this isn't a coincidence.
Remember me to your nephew.
Gee. And with my initials on the buckle. Oh, this is a beauty, Molly. Thanks ever so much.
Don't mention it, and Merry Christmas. First installment.
My gosh, this is really unexpected.
Well, it shouldn't be. The way you've been talking about a new belt the past few weeks, you should have taken out a hinting license.
Here, throw this old one away, will you?
All right, I'll put it in. Why, this is strange.
Huh?
Looks like it had been cut halfway through.
Oh, well, I've had a very sharp appetite lately, and my waist...
Come in.
Hello, Molly. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, you big front man for the Stork Club. Why call me Gary? You finally agree with me that I look like Cooper?
No, that's just my abbreviation for garrulous.
Why, Doctor, McGee is not garrulous.
I should say not. I haven't been out with a girl since I married Molly.
Yes. Yes, I know. You two are the living exhibit A for the scientific theory of the attraction of opposites. Molly is so good-looking and sweet and quiet.
And I'm?
Yes, indeed, in spades. Say, what's all this Christmas stuff around here? You been unwrapping a present, McGee?
Well, he just broke his belt, Doctor. And as long as I was giving him one for Christmas, I thought he might as well have it now.
Beauty, ain't it, Doc? Real pigskin.
I shall not descend to any of the obvious retorts, my boy. It is a very handsome hunk of haberdashery. But aren't you a little ashamed of accepting your gifts now? According to my calendar, it's several days until Christmas.
Well, I was just trying to keep up his spirits and his pants for the next week, Doctor.
What do you use for a calendar, Doc? Cut a notch in a patient for each day of the week?
No, I just glance in the mirror. If I seem to have aged 10 years, I know another day has crept by.
You know, you ought to go away for a good long rest, Doctor. Someplace where you can't get near a telephone. Like any drugstore.
Don't think I wouldn't love it, my dear, but I've got to stick around for the Christmas rush.
What Christmas rush? You running a black market in pink pills?
No, but us Cowtown pasteurs expect certain seasonal phenomena about this time of year. Like kids swallowing Christmas tree ornaments. Selfish little animals that they are, and ornaments so hard to get. And then, too, digital callosity is almost an annual epidemic.
Heavenly days, what on earth is digital callosity?
Calluses on the fingers. From people rubbing them over greeting cards to see if they're really engraved.
Well, it's nice to have you drop in, Doctor. Particularly without McGee starting an argument with you.
No, just a darn minute. Whom starts all the arguing with whom? Doc always starts them, not me.
Oh, now, don't give us that, little Sir Decibel. You're as bad-tempered as a dime store jackknife, and you know it.
I don't know any such a dirty thing. Just because you always start snarling at me with your big fat teeth don't mean I got a bad temper.
Why, you peripatetic little biological aberration. You have the neurological reactions of a schizophrenic troglodyte.
King's X.
What do you mean, King's X?
Doc don't play fair. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I'll call it off till I look up some one-syllable words, McGee. Anyway, I gotta get back to my office. It's probably full of expectant fathers.
Expectant fathers?
Yes, they expect me to tell them beforehand whether to have the nursery decorated in pink or blue.
What do you tell them, Doc?
I give them an evasive answer. I tell them to go fry a pig. Well, Merry Christmas, folks.
Thank you, Doctor. Same to you.
And a Happy New Year, Doc.
Isn't he a sweet old character?
Yeah, great guy. It was a great loss to medicine when he started studying it. What a patient he'd have been.
Say, I wonder if it was he who sent us the big white package with the blue ribbon on it.
Are you kidding? You don't have to play coy with me, Tootsie. I wasn't born yesterday.
Well, you might as well have been. You're so changeable. Now, if you'll, McGee, if you'll go away someplace while I straighten up this closet.
I'll run over to Kramer's drugstore. I gotta buy a new fountain pen.
Oh, no, McGee. Don't do that.
Huh? Why not?
Well, I was... Well, why do you need a new fountain pen just this minute? Can't you use your old one?
My old one? I only got one.
Well, I meant... Well, what's the matter with it?
Well, the point is pigeon-toed. Writes 2 lines instead of 1.
But maybe you'll get...
When I registered with it at a hotel last summer, the clerk looks at my signature and says, "You gentlemen want twin beds?" You go ahead and fix the closet, kiddo. I'll run over to Kramer's and get a fountain.
Oh, dear. You win again, McGee. Here, open this package.
What do you mean?
Go ahead, open it.
Well, okay. Well, I'll be a new fountain pen. Gee, thanks, kid. Oh, this is wonderful.
Merry Christmas. Second installment.
Boy, this is a wonderful pen. Just the kind I wanted, too. And just when I needed it. Why, you could knock me over with a feather, Molly. I never dreamed you... Hey, what are you looking for?
A feather.
Billy Mills and the orchestra and Jingle Bell.
Don't bother me, McGee. I've almost got this closet straightened up again.
How about that big white package with the blue ribbon on it? Does it gurgle or rattle or squeak or anything?
Well, I haven't touched it. Somebody around here's got to keep his curiosity under control. And as long as there's only 2 of us, it looks like I'm elected.
Hey, this is a wonderful pen you gave me, Molly.
You like it, dearie?
It's marvelous. Only one thing wrong with it that I can see.
My goodness, what's that?
I just worked a crossword puzzle with it, and it don't spell very good.
That isn't the pen, that's the ink.
Oh. Well, I'm really quite gruntled with it.
You mean disgruntled?
No, I'm very happy. It's the finest pen I...
Hello, friends.
Hello there, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, waxy old man. How do you like the new belt Molly gave me for Christmas?
Say, it's beautiful. But aren't you folks a little previous with your Christmas presents?
Well, he was getting so snoopy, Mr. Wilcox, I just had to give him a belt one way or another. So I took the easy way.
Look, she gave me a fountain pen, too. Ain't that a darb? Writes 10,000 words without filling. Don't know how many he'll write when I fill it. Don't you get it, kids? I says it right.
Ain't funny, McGee.
I thought it had a kind of a funny taint. You like the pen, Junior?
It's very handsome, pal. But better get your name engraved on it. Be ashamed to lose a nice pen like that.
Well, I couldn't get it engraved till after Christmas, Mr. Wilcox. I took it to 7 different jewelers, too.
Gee, did you really, Molly?
Yes, and I got quite an inferiority complex. Leaning over $80,000 worth of diamond necklaces, trying to get a $3 job of engraving done.
Well, gee, you should have taken it to my cousin, Big Bill Wilcox, on Oak Street, Molly. One of the finest engravers in the country.
I thought all the really great engravers were working for the government, Waxy.
Oh, he used to.
In Washington?
No, Leavenworth. That's why they call him Big Bill. He got caught making 20s out of 10s.
They put him to work making little ones out of big ones for making big ones out of little ones, eh?
He's a terrific engraver, though. Well, here, wait a minute. Here, take a look at this common, ordinary little pin.
Well, what about it?
Well, look at the head of it.
Kind of scratched up, isn't it, Junior?
Ha, ha, ha. Look at it through this magnifying glass, which I just happen to have with me.
Uh-oh.
Well, heavenly days. Isn't that marvelous?
Let me look at it. Well, I'm a son of a gun. What does it say, Junior? Can't quite read it without my glasses.
It says you don't have to be sharp as a pin to know that Johnson's self-polishing glow coat is the finest beautifier and protector of linoleum.
Imagine writing all that on the head of a pin.
Oh, there's more than that. It says if you're stuck with faded, worn linoleum, bring it back to life and beauty with Johnson's glow coat, the polish that shines as it dries.
My gosh, he is quite an engraver, isn't he, Waxy?
Well, you know, the funny part of it is, it only took him 20 minutes or less to do it.
Oh, that's too much.
Same length of time it takes for a glow coat to dry to a mirror-like finish on your linoleum. Now, wasn't that a coincidence?
Amazing. Here, let me put the pin back in your lapel, Mr. Wilcox. I'm afraid it might get lost.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's your story, Junior, and you got stuck with it.
Well, here, let me take your fountain pen, pal. I'll have Big Bill engrave it for you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox.
Thanks, Junior.
Don't mention it. I'll have it back Friday.
Okay.
Isn't he a sweet old... Oh, no, that's Dr. Gamble.
Look, Molly, no kidding. That big white package with the blue ribbon on it. Is that for me?
I tell you, I don't know a thing about it, McGee.
Cross your heart?
Cross my heart.
Well, my gosh, somebody must have... Hey, maybe Beulah put it there. Oh, Beulah? Hey, Beulah!
You call me Miss McGee?
Why should I? You never call me Beulah.
Mr. McGee wanted to know about this big white package with a blue ribbon on it, Beulah.
Did you put it in the closet here, Beulah?
No, sir. That package is a complete stranger to me.
Well, that's strange. Oh, well, we'll find out when we open it at Christmas time. Have you got all your shopping done, Beulah?
Yes, ma'am, practically. All I got left to get stuff for is Papa and Ira.
Ira? Who's Ira?
He's my one and only, sir. At least he's one of the few and far between. Ira, he's the FBI man.
Oh, heavenly days. Federal Bureau of Investigation?
No, ma'am, friendly but ignorant.
What does he do, Beulah?
He's the insurance man, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he specializes in life insurance with double indignity.
Indemnity?
Yes, only he may have to give it up on account of a greeting card he got this morning.
On account of a greeting card?
Yeah, sir. You say, from the President of the United States, greeting.
What's his present status, Beulah?
5'9.5" in his socks, ma'am.
No. No, how's he classified now?
I classify him as ready and willing, sir. Though he's suffering with flat feet and astigmatism.
Tism.
Oh, yes, tis, ma'am. He's so short-sighted he don't know his best friend across a taffy pull.
Well, they don't pull taffy in the Army anyway, Beulah. He'll be okay if he can see well enough to pull a sergeant's leg.
Yes, that's what I mean. Love that man.
I think we ought to open up that package. I think it must have been delivered by mistake.
Well, it might have been at that, McGee. There's no tag on it or anything.
You think we ought to?
Well, I don't
Yes, I think we ought to. One side, baby. I'll soon solve this mystery.
Well, if you really... Heavenly days, it's a beautiful negligee.
A negligee? Oh, my gosh.
What's the matter?
Oh, gee whiz. Oh, my. That was my present for you, baby. I bought it a month ago and forgot all about it. If I ain't the dumbest bunny
now,
that ever...
McGee, I think it's lovely and just what I wanted. It's the most...
Oh, now, Hoon. Come in.
Hi, mister. We're all ready.
Ready? Who's all ready for what?
Kenny and Johnny and Buddy and Reddy and me.
Huh?
We're all ready to sing. Come on in, kids.
Well, folks, 3 years ago, Ken Darby of our King's Men wrote for our Christmas show an original musical setting for the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Everyone seemed to like it so well that we've been asked to do it every Christmas since. And we're glad to do it again tonight.
Okay, Mr. McGee. Go on. Sit down now.
Okay.
You and Miss McGee sit in a circle. You sit at the piano, Kenny. Ready, everybody? A 1 and a 2 and a 3. stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all snug in their wee little bed, while visions of sugar plums dance in their wee little head. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
Went out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw open the sash. Then, what to my wondering, I should appear but a miniature sleigh and a tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick that I knew right away that it must be St. Nick. All bundled in fur from his head to his foot, old Santa was covered with ashes and soot. I drew in my head and was turning around when down the chimney he came with a bound.
His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. The beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a little old pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke went around and around and around his head like a wreath. He was so chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, that I laughed and I laughed and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. He had a broad face, and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He gave me a wink of his eye and a twist of his head, a chuckle and a smile. I knew all the while I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings.
Oh, boy.
Then turned with a jerk. Then laying a
Finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team, gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, and he drove outside.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good
night after Christmas and all through the house, not a creature is stirring, not even the mouse. The presents are scattered and broken, I fear, and St. Nicholas won't come again for a year. The children are nestled all warm in their wee little beds,
while memories of sugar plums dance in their wee little heads.
Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap are settled at last for a long
gentlemen, 2,000 years ago, a star shone over Bethlehem to light the way to peace and goodwill on earth. Tonight, that star is reflected in the windows of millions of your homes.
So our Christmas wish to all of you is that the men and women who have gone out to fulfill the promise of that symbol may soon return. Mission accomplished.
Good night.
Good night, all.
I heard him exclaim, and he drove out of sight. Merry Christmas to all and good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
That was the Fibber, McGee and Molly Show with Christmas Presents, as originally heard December 19th, 1944. Up next on Classic Radio Rewind, we're going to hear from the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. One of Professor Moriarty's henchmen switches Christmas sacks with Dr. Watson when both are dressed as Santa Claus. Sherlock Holmes has to catch the thief and save Watson and his Christmas party. From Christmas Eve, 1945, this is the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes in The Night Before Christmas.
This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce, the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invite you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. Well, right about now, you're probably taking a little breather in your last-minute rush to get everything ready for the big day tomorrow. Children have to be put to bed to wait for Santa Claus, and there's the tree waiting to be decorated, and, a million and one things which must be done before morning. I sure hope you got all your Christmas shopping done. It's pretty hectic rushing off at the last minute to take care of Uncle Charlie or Aunt Bertha or Cousin Sam. But if you must get something, just remember that you can always dash over to your wine merchant and get a bottle or two of Petri wine. Or better yet, a whole case of Petri wine. Petri wine's a swell gift, and I just thought a little last-minute suggestion might be of some help. And now I'm sure our good friend Dr. Watson's waiting for us, so let's go in and join him.
Come in. Ah, there you are, Mr. Bartell.
Oh, say, Doctor, I can see you're going to have yourself quite a Christmas. Big tree in the corner with colored lights on it. Where'd you get those? Table covered with presents? You must be mighty popular.
They aren't all for me, my boy. You see, I'm having a Christmas party tomorrow for my housekeeper's little nieces.
Oh.
I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus for them.
Well, I'm sure you look very convincing in the part. Oh, by the way, Doctor, I brought you a little present.
Ooh,
Here it is. I hope you'll like it.
Mr. Bartell, I got one for you, too, here, somewhere. Oh, you self. In fact, I never did quite make head or tails of it until Holmes took pity on me later and explained the whole thing. But I shan't try to confuse you, Mr. Bartell. I'll tell you the story exactly as it happened.
Right you are, Doctor. Let's go.
Very well. On that Christmas Eve in '86, I was standing in our Baker Street rooms, dressed in the costume of Santa Claus. Holmes, his long, thin fingers pressed together, lay back in an armchair and gazed at me quizzically, while our housekeeper, Mrs. Hudson, stood by the door and...
Dr. Watson, you make a grand Santa Claus.
Doesn't he, Mrs. Hudson? Try the beard on, Watson, old chap.
I'm afraid this is going to be a little uncomfortable. How does it look?
Oh, you look just like the old man on the Christmas cards, Doctor.
Yes, Watson. It really becomes you. The cheery twinkle of the eyes, the ruddy complexion, and the appropriate girth. What a shame we can't obtain some snow on a sleigh and reindeer for you. However, I'm sure Mrs. Hudson's nieces will be very much impressed.
Oh, they will that, sir. And it's very kind of you, Doctor, to offer to come over to their house with me. With her father in the hospital and my sister at his bedside, it would have been a very miserable Christmas without me.
Oh, I shall enjoy myself, but I think I'll take this beard off before we get there. That's it. Are you ready to leave, Mrs. Hudson?
I am, sir. Will I get a cab?
How far do we have to go?
Oh, Lexington Gardens, number 28. It's just off the Edgware Road, Doctor.
It's not far, but bearing in mind my costume, I suppose we'd better take a cab.
Aye, sir. I'll get one.
Holmes, what are you going to do with yourself? I hate leaving you alone on Christmas Eve.
Oh, don't worry, old chap. I shall spend a profitable evening writing on my new monograph.
Well, what's this one about?
An analysis of teeth marks on pipe stems, with particular regard to indicated character.
Oh, gracious me, how exciting. Well, I must be going.
Don't forget your sack of presents, old fellow.
Great Scott, no.
When you come to distribute them, you'll find that I took the liberty of adding a few trinkets on my own behalf.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, Holmes.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Holmes, but there's a gentleman to see you. Says he's an old friend of yours. Here's his card, sir.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Lord Whitcomb. Splendid. Ask him to come up, please, Mrs. Hudson.
All right, sir.
And I hope your party is a great success, Mrs. Hudson.
Thank you, sir. Are you sure you don't want me to stay? Now that you have a visitor,
Oh, no. Indeed, no, Mrs. Hudson. I can show the gentleman out myself. You go off and have a good time.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I wonder what Lord William wants. Perhaps I should stay
No,
and give you...
please, my dear fellow. Certainly not.
Well?
You've far more important work to do. Whitcomb probably wants his revenge at chess. Or something equally innocuous. Off with you, my dear fellow, and enjoy yourself.
Oh, I suppose I'd better go. Just the same, I wish you were coming with me. I'll see you later.
I shall be there. Come on up, Whitcomb.
Hello, Holmes. Oh, evening, Watson. You make a very convincing Santa Claus. Are you leaving?
I'm afraid so, Lord Whitcomb.
Well, good night, then.
Good night.
How are you, Holmes? All alone on Christmas Eve, eh?
Yes, Whitcomb, I'm glad you came over to see me.
Mm-hmm.
What's it to be, an evening of chess, or have you unearthed some recent treasure of medieval pottery that we can discuss?
Neither, Holmes. I've come to you in your professional capacity. I need help.
Oh, come now, Whitcomb. Don't tell me that after all these years of quiet friendship, you're going to become a client.
I'm afraid so, Holmes. Though I doubt if my problem will interest you very much. It's hardly up to your rather colorful standards. Care for a cigar?
Oh, thanks. Well, now, my dear Whitcomb, what's your trouble?
Well, I decided this year to have a little Christmas party at my townhouse. I'm quite comfortably off, as you know, and it occurred to me that I have several relatives and friends who are not as well off. I'm having a party for them tonight, Holmes, and I hope you'd attend it, disguised as Santa Claus.
Oh, my dear fellow, I've adopted many disguises in my time, but Father Christmas has never been one of them. Why do you want me to attend your party in disguise in any case? You ashamed of your friendship with a private detective, or do you consider my features more acceptable when buried beneath the depths of a snowy beard?
Oh, my dear Holmes, do take me seriously. I'm not joking, I assure you.
Of course you're not, You want me to attend your party in disguise. Why?
I'm giving some very valuable presents. Diamond and onyx cufflinks, platinum and ruby earrings, and such like. And I've wrapped each of the presents in banknotes.
Oh, dear me. Where are these presents now?
In a sack, in charge of my butler. I was going to dress up as Santa Claus and give them out myself, until I got the warning letter. That's why I've come to you.
Warning letter, eh?
Yes. I received it by this evening's post. Listen to this. My dear Lord Whitcomb, your generosity with Christmas presents borders on ostentation. We do not approve. Either we receive £5,000 in sovereigns at Post Restaurant Box 379 by 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, or I'm afraid your Christmas party will be conspicuous by its absence of presents.
Let me see that note, Whitcomb, will you?
Yes, here you are.
Thanks. Plain paper, torn from a penny notebook. The writing is obviously disguised. By George, yes. Whitcomb, I accept the case. I'll come with you to your party at once, and furthermore, I shall follow your suggestion regarding a disguise. Dressed as Santa Claus, I shall be less likely to attract suspicion.
I'm delighted, Holmes. But what made you decide so suddenly?
This writing, my dear fellow, this writing. Oh, it's in a false hand. I know that characteristic M in my dear Whitcomb. I've seen it too often at the beginning of a signature. Moriarty.
Moriarty? Who's he?
Oh, one of the cleverest and most unscrupulous criminals in England. Whitcomb, there's no time to be lost. Let me see now. 6:30. Half an hour beyond the deadline given you in this letter. We must go to your house at once.
This is as far as the cab can take us, Doctor.
Oh, here you are, cabby. Here's 5 shillings for you and a Merry Christmas.
Oh, bless you, Jim, and a Merry Christmas to you, too.
You said you wanted to get into the house through the back way so that you could surprise the children.
Yes, I thought
Well,
I'd pretend to come down the kitchen chimney.
Oh, you can get to the back of the house by going up the alley here. I'll go in the front door.
Splendid, Mrs. Hudson. Which is the house?
Number 28. It's the third one down the alley, Doctor. I'll have the back window open in no time, and you can slip in without any of the bairns seeing you.
Very well. Gloomy little street, I must say. Hello. Well, where's the music coming from?
Oh, it's from that temple across the street, Doctor. The disciples of the octagonal square, they call themselves.
What on earth do you suppose that means?
Oh, some newfangled cult. Heathens, most likely.
Hello. I'm not the only Santa Claus abroad tonight. Look at that fellow across the street over there.
Oh, dressed just like yourself, Doctor, and carrying a sack, too. Oh, he's running up the steps to the temple.
Great Scott, he slipped on the ice.
Oh.
I wonder what his hurry was. Here, my man. Let
Be
me help you
careful
up,
now,
sir.
Doctor. Dinna trip yourself.
Here you are, sir. Now, give me a hand.
Thank you, sir. Silly of me, wasn't it?
We Santa Clauses have to help each other, you know. Up you come. That's it. Whoop. Oh, gracious me.
Doctor, I told you to be careful. Now you've fallen, too.
Oh, it's this confounded red coat of mine. It tripped me up.
Did you hurt yourself, sir?
No. I'm all right, I think. How about you, sir?
Well, I'm all right, thanks. Silly of me to run, wasn't it?
Here's your sack, sir.
Thank you. Good night and Merry Christmas.
Good night. Same to you. Oh, he went into the temple. Must be a disciple of the octagonal square.
You're sure you're no hurt, Doctor?
No, of course not, Mrs. Hudson. Give me my sack, please. Thank you. Your sister's house is the third one down this alleyway, you say?
I'll hurry and open the back window.
Yes, I'll be waiting for you, Mrs. Hudson. This is going to be rather fun. What a shame Holmes isn't with us. Oh, well, he's probably happier having a good game of chess with Lord Whitcomb.
This is my house, Holmes. Number 39.
39 Branston Square, eh? And dear old Watson is just around the corner in Lexington Gardens and hasn't any idea that I've left Baker Street.
Yes, here you are, cabby.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas, sir.
Uh-huh. Listen to that. Carol singers.
Yes, we'll probably have our fill of them before this evening's over.
Good evening, my lord.
Have the guests arrived, Hargreave?
Most of them, sir. They're in the library. You brought another Santa Claus with you, I see, my lord.
Another Santa Claus? What do you mean?
The gentleman arrived 3/4 of an hour ago, sir, dressed as Santa Claus. I took him to your study, my lord, and showed him the sack of presents.
Confound it! He's got here before us. Where's this study?
This way.
I hope I didn't do wrong, my lord. You told me that a gentleman dressed as Santa Claus would be coming here. Dear me. The gentleman appears to have gone.
Yes, and the sack containing the presents with him.
But he can't have left the house, my lord. I've been watching the front door.
Yes, and while you were doing that, he slipped out through the window here. The catch is undone. Hargrave, describe this man.
I can't tell you much about his appearance, I'm afraid, sir. He was dressed as Santa Claus, just like yourself. But I did notice one thing about him, sir.
Oh? What was that?
He lisped, sir. It was quite pronounced.
Of course. Lou the Lisper.
Who on earth is Lou the Lisper?
One of Moriarty's most trusted accomplices. Fortunately, though, I've had news of him lately through my underworld grapevine.
You know where he lives?
He's reputed to have some connections with a new cult that calls themselves the Disciples of the Octagonal Square. Their headquarters are just around the corner from here.
Let's go there at once.
Of course. And Hargrave.
Yes, sir.
Get a message to Scotland Yard as fast as you can. Ask for Inspector Lestrade. And tell him to join me at the Temple of the Octagonal Square in Lexington Gardens as soon as possible.
Oh, the children are awful excited, Doctor. I told them you just came down the chimney.
I'll slip the beard on and then I'll go into him. There we are.
Will I announce you, Doctor?
Yes, yes, please, Mrs. Hudson.
All right, sir. Now, children, quiet. Santa Claus has come to see you, and he's brought you all presents.
Hello, children.
Hello, Santa Claus. My name's Elsie. Did you bring me a present?
Why, I did, Elsie. I'll look in my sack in a minute. And what's your name, young man?
Herbert, they call me Bertie. Did you come down the chimney?
Yes, Bertie.
I bet you had a time doing it. You're so fat.
Oh, don't be rude, Bertie, or Santa Claus won't give you your present.
And what's your name, little man?
Lionel. I've got a cold.
Yes, I see you have. Well, children, gather round me and I'll see what presents I got for you.
Let me see, Bertie.
The first present is for... No, it's got to be right. It says for Her Grace, the Dowager Duchess of Bewley.
Oh, do you suppose Mr. Holmes has been playing a practical joke on you, Doctor?
I suppose so. Well, I can't see the point myself. But he did say that he'd added a few trinkets of his own.
I want my present.
Then supposing you take this, Elsie.
Pooh, thank you.
And this one is marked for the Reverend Arthur Carter. I knew what Holmes was up to. Here you are, Bertie.
Cool, thanks.
And this is for you, Lionel, because you've been a good little boy.
It isn't very big, is it? I wanted the dog.
Oh, wanted the dog. Well, I'll bring you a dog next year, Lionel.
Dr. Watson.
Yes, Mrs. Hudson?
Oh, look at the wrapping on these presents, Doctor. They're 20-pound notes.
It's cut.
Oh, cool. Look what I
Now,
got.
let me see. Why, cufflinks and diamond and onyx ones, unless I'm very much mistaken.
I got some pretty earrings. Look how they sparkle.
Let me see, Elsie. Good gracious, I swear that these are platinum and rubies. What in thunder's going on?
I want my earrings back.
Give me back mine, too.
Well, here you are, here you are.
Dr. Watson, what do you suppose has happened?
I don't know, Mrs. Hudson. Perhaps my toys are still at the bottom of the sack. I can't understand it. I wish Holmes were here instead of dozing in front of our fire in Baker Street.
Where are you, Holmes?
Here by the bed. This is the only room in the temple that gives any signs of having been lived in. I think our bird has been here, but I'm afraid he's flown. If Inspector Lestrade will get here, strike a match, will you, Whitcomb?
Right. Yeah. Here's a candle on the table.
Oh, just as I feared. Look on the bed.
A red coat and a beard.
Yes, Lou the Lisper has discarded his disguise and gone, and with him, I'm afraid, your valuable presents.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's a sack lying on the floor. Oh, no, this isn't mine. Look what's in it. A toy dog, large box of chocolates, little girl's doll.
What in thunder? Well, this is Watson's sack.
But how on earth could Lou the Lisper have got hold of it?
Somewhere, somehow, he and Watson must have made an accidental change, and Lou the Lisper is no doubt trying to track Watson down at this very moment. We must work fast, Whitcomb, or my friend's life and those of Mrs. Hudson and her relatives won't be worth a tinker's dam.
Oh, now, Doctor, you can't break off your story there.
Oh, yes, I can, my boy. Before I go on, I thought we'd have a glass of port just to freshen us up.
Oh, well, that's something different. Of course. Instead of talking about port, as I sometimes do, it'll be nice to drink some for a change.
There you are, my boy, and a Merry Christmas to you.
The same to you. And now, what happened next, Doctor? We left you at the children's Christmas party, and Sherlock Holmes and Lord Whitcomb around the corner at the Temple of the Octagonal Square.
Yes, Mr. Bartell, although at the time, of course, I had no idea what was going on. There I was, cheerfully handing out gifts worth, well, if not a king's, at least a baronet's ransom. While outside the Temple of the Octagonal Square, Holmes and Lord Whitcomb were talking to Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
That's the case in a nutshell, Lestrade.
Yeah, it seems to me, Lord Whitcomb, you'd have been wiser to get in touch with Scotland Yard when you first got the warning note. We could have nabbed him when he came to your house and pinched the sack of presents.
Lestrade, this is no time for post-mortems. We've got to reach Lou the Lisper before he finds Dr. Watson.
Do you suppose he can do that, Holmes?
It wouldn't be difficult. Lou the Lisper is nearly as clever as his master, Professor Moriarty. The chances are that you were followed when you came to Baker Street tonight, Whitcomb, and it's equally likely that Watson and Mrs. Hudson were followed as they left it. Moriarty seldom leaves anything to chance.
Well, where did Dr. Watson go tonight?
28 Lexington Gardens. It's just around the corner from here.
Well, then let's go there at once.
Frighten our quarry away? No, Lestrade. We must use a little subtlety. Now, Lou the Lisper wishes to recover that sack of presents from Watson. How would he invade the party with the least possible trouble?
By dressing up as Santa Claus again?
No, I think he's overplayed that role for one evening.
Well, then how would he try to get in, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, come now, Lestrade. What group of people can enter any house on Christmas Eve without invitation and without creating suspicion?
The carol
Exactly,
singers.
my dear fellow. I shouldn't be at all surprised if at this very moment Lou the Lisper and some of his gang are singing carols outside 28 Lexington Gardens.
Well, then what are we going to do?
Form a rival choral society. How many of your men did you bring with you?
3. The sergeant and 2 constables.
Wearing greatcoats?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. But why?
Good. They can hide their helmets and pretend to be singers. Come on. Let's go over there, and while we're walking, we'll rehearse our carols. We must appear reasonably convincing. Sound your A, Lestrade. Sound your A.
Thank you for a ride on your back, Santa Claus.
No, you mustn't make Santa Claus too tired, lad.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. Hudson. Hop on, Lal, hop on.
Oh, they sing carols outside
Oh,
the
isn't
door.
that
Can't
nice?
they come inside and sing for us, Santa
Yes,
Claus?
of course they can. Ask them to come in, Mrs. Hudson, will you?
All right, sir.
Oh, come on, let me get on your back, too.
Oh, now, take it easy. Oh, there we go.
I want to see your reindeer, Santa.
See my reindeer? Oh, up on the roof.
I'll climb up and see them.
No, you mustn't do that. They're asleep. Oh, here are the carol singers. Off you get, children. There we go. That's it. Now, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, and Merry Christmas.
Would you like to sing some carols for the children? After that, I'm sure you'd like a drop of something to warm you up.
Well, thank you, sir. We should like that.
Haven't I met you before somewhere, my man?
No, sir, I'm sure you haven't. Come on, man, let's sing Good King Wenceslas.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen.
Well, here we are outside the house, Mr. Holmes. Now what?
Shh. Listen. Uh-huh. Lou the Lisper and his men are already there.
Are we going in now?
In a moment. Now, men, you will have your truncheons handy?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we're ready.
Splendid. Now, remember, when we're inside and I yell Merry Christmas at the top of my voice, you bring out your truncheons and get Lou the Lisper and his gang out of there as quickly as possible. Don't arrest them until you get them outside again, Lestrade. I don't want to frighten the children.
Right you are, Mr. Holmes. We're ready. Just give us the word and we'll go in and get them.
Oh, that was very nice singing. And now, how about something to warm you all up?
That won't be necessary, Dr. Watson. See to the door, Sammy. Now, all of you, stay right where you are.
Who are you? What do you think you're up to?
Please don't be difficult, Doctor. All I want is the jewels out of my sack that you stole from me tonight. If you try and stop me, I shall have to hurt you.
Why do you talk so funny? You got a cold like me?
Shut up. Now, Doctor, where are the jewels? Oh, curse it. There are some more carol singers outside.
It's our time to go away, Lou.
No, better let them come in. If we don't, they might get suspicious.
All right, Lou. Suppose you know what you're up to.
Now, no tricks, Doctor. If you try and give an alarm, I shall have to get rough with you.
I don't mind about that, but just remember that there are children present.
Oh, yeah, matey. You're only here before you, eh? What you say? We all join a little carol for the nippers, eh?
All right. What do you want to sing?
Up the Yellow Angels sing, eh?
All right. Come on, men. Let's sing.
Of the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Merry Christmas!
Dr. Watson, what's happening? They're all hitting each other with truncheons.
Here, you can't do that. They're all going away. They're dragging each other out. Hey, come back here.
Oh, terrible.
Holmes, what in thunder's going on?
I'll explain it to you later, old chap. Lestrade!
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
Take them to Scotland Yard and prefer charges. I'll be over in a little while and give evidence.
Right you are, sir. Too bad we didn't catch Professor Moriarty, too.
Well, at least we have some of his cohorts. I'll see you later, Lestrade.
I wish I knew what was going on here. Is Moriarty mixed up in this business?
Yes, Watson. I'll tell you all about it as soon as I've straightened this thing out. Now, Whitcomb.
Yes, Holmes.
The 20-pound notes that you used as wrapping for your gifts seem to have been scattered all over the house. Do you want me to recover them, too?
No. From what you've told me of the children, I think their parents could use the money much more profitably than my relatives. In any case, I can replace it.
A very generous Christmas gift. Well, children, did you enjoy the little game we staged for you?
It was enough fun.
Yes. I nearly died laughing when they started hitting each other.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, children. And now I want you to show me the presents you received.
I got these pretty earrings.
Oh, they were a part of the game, too. A nice little girl like you doesn't want silly earrings, Elsie. Here's a beautiful doll for you.
Cool. Her eyes open and shed and everything.
And what did you get, my little man?
These.
Oh, cufflinks. Good gracious, who wants cufflinks when he can have a clockwork train? You want to exchange?
Rain, Lord love a duck, yes.
I wanted the dog.
There's one for you, Lionel. A nice woolly dog.
Oh, good.
And here's a
Lovely.
nice... Here you are, children. Here's a nice big box of chocolates, too. You can all share them.
Oh, Lummy, what a night. I ain't had as much fun since Granny got her finger stuck in a plug-o.
I still don't understand what's going on, Holmes, but I must say this has all the earmarks of being a happy Christmas.
Yes, oh. Mrs. Hudson.
Hi, Mr. Holmes.
How's the turkey coming along?
Oh, it'll be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Holmes.
Splendid. And while we're waiting, perhaps the children will oblige with something we haven't heard so far this evening.
Yes, I know what you mean. A Christmas carol that really sounds convincing. How about it, children?
All right, sir. Come on, Elsie. Come on, Lionel.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and fond, sleep in heavenly sleep in heaven.
Well, Doctor, that was really a swell story. On a Christmas Eve like this, do you ever wish you were back in Baker Street celebrating Christmas there?
Times, yes, but actually, Mr. Bartell, I'm very happy right here in my little home. There on the table is a beautiful little Christmas tree. There's a fine fire in my fireplace. My two dogs, Monty and Willie, are sleeping peacefully at my feet. And best of it all, I've got the love of every child in the neighborhood. Yes, I got a great deal this Christmas Eve. Lots to be thankful for. And what with the troubles of the world on their way to being settled, it looks as if this is the brightest Christmas that I've ever had.
Well, that's how I feel about it, too, Doctor.
I hope that all our friends listening in are just as happy this Christmas Eve as we are. And speaking not only for myself, but I know for all of us and for the Petrie family, too, we wish every one of you a happy Christmas from the bottom of our hearts. God rest ye merry, gentlemen.
Well, Dr. Watson, next Monday is New Year's Eve. What story do you plan to tell us?
One that I think you'll find extremely appropriate, Mr. Bartell. It takes place in a Scottish castle near Edinburgh on a New Year's Eve in 1900 and concerns a pair of lovers, an elderly baronet and a strange iron box that proved to be more than worth its weight in gold.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and was suggested by an incident in the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. Music is by Dean Fossler. Mr. Rathbone appears through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California, invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studios. This is Harry Bartell saying good night for the Petri family. For a solid hour of exciting mystery dramas, listen every Monday on most of these same stations at 8 o'clock to Michael Shayne, followed immediately by Sherlock Holmes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
That was The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes with the episode titled The Night Before Christmas, as originally heard, Christmas Eve, 1945. And just like that, we raced through hour number 1. There's more on the other side of the break with Christmas episodes from Tales of the Texas Rangers and the Saint as Classic Radio Rewind returns right after these messages. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. I'm Barry Slinker, and we're going to kick off hour number 2 with an episode from The Saint. Fats Boylan was hired to play Santa at a society party, but chose to leave early, as did a box of jewelry belonging to the hostess. From NBC Radio, 7:30 p.m., Christmas Eve, 1950. Make a mental note of NBC, 7:30 p.m., and Christmas Eve, as that will be relevant in the next episode. This is The Saint with Santa Claus Ain't No Saint.
The Adventures of the Saint, starring Vincent Price. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris and known to millions from books, magazines, and motion pictures. The Robin Hood of modern crime now comes transcribed to radio, starring Hollywood's brilliant and talented actor Vincent Price as The Saint.
Come in.
Hi, Mr. Temple.
Oh, hello, Louie.
Where are you?
I'm in my room. I'll be ready in a minute.
Hey, wait till you see my cap. I gave it a bath for Christmas.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to rush you, but if you don't hurry, Christmas Eve is going to be already Christmas morning, and what'll all them tots think?
Oh, them tots will be singularly fortunate. However, all I have to do now is get my whiskers on. There. How do I look?
Mr. Templar, if I didn't know you was Mr. Templar,
Yes?
I wouldn't know who you were.
Louis, don't I look like Santa Claus?
This may come as a surprise to you, Mr. Templar. Santa Claus is fat.
Oh.
You're not fat.
Oh. Well, hand me that cushion from the couch, huh?
Okay. Here.
Yeah, thank you. Now then. How's that?
Now say ho, ho, ho.
What for?
Santa Clauses always say ho, ho, ho.
Oh, I see. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, anyway, you look like Santa Claus. Hey, Mr. Templar, whose idea was this?
Mrs. Winterbottom's.
Oh, the dame who annoys tots on Christmas Eve.
Mrs. Winterbottom is a very well-known philanthropist, and every Christmas Eve she collects hundreds of small children and feeds them.
Yeah. Who feeds them the rest of the year?
Don't be bitter, Louis.
Sorry.
At least I ought to give the little tots a laugh.
Yeah. And I suppose there is something to be said for Mrs. Winterbottom.
Don't say it now.
Don't worry.
There's something to be said for Santa Claus, too. He does go around filling stockings.
Yeah, I know a blonde. Shouldn't say that either, huh?
No. Someone at the door. Louis, would you mind?
No. It's probably one of them tots. Correction. It's a tot 20 years later.
Get in.
I'm already in.
Back up.
I'm backing up.
Thanks. Now reach, gents.
You know, that gun in her hand looks loaded.
Now that you mention
Reach.
For what?
The chandelier.
Can't.
Why not?
No chandelier.
Oh, a wise guy, huh?
If you're going to shoot me, I insist on knowing your name.
Just call me Sally.
Sally. And your last name?
Never mind that. How would you like to get plugged in the...
Breadbasket?
Where?
Oh, let's pass lightly over that. I wouldn't like to get plugged anywhere.
And shut up.
All right.
Where is it?
Right down the hall.
Are you trying to be smart?
Not especially.
So it's going to be like that, huh?
Like what?
Now you listen to me, Fats Boylan.
Huh?
You shut up, too.
I didn't say anything.
Well, shut up anyway.
I'm shutting up.
What was I saying?
You just finished calling me Fats Boylan.
That's right.
That's wrong. I'm not Fats Boylan.
Ha.
Well, it helps keep the conversation
Look,
going.
Fats, are you going to stop stalling and hand over the stuff, or will I have to shoot?
Since I am not Fats Boylan, and since I have no stuff to hand over, I'm afraid you'll have to shoot.
Mr. Templar, that could be fatal.
You keep quiet, punk.
Who's a punk?
You're a punk.
Mr. Templar, am I a punk?
Well, Sally is just a little confused this evening, Louis.
Confused or not, she shouldn't call me a...
Shut up. Oh.
You don't have to start bawling.
I am not bawling. I
You were just about to shoot me.
Well, I know, but then you'd bleed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't stand the sight of blood.
Why don't you strangle him?
Louis, don't be unkind. It seems to be the doorbell again.
No, wait.
Oh, it's very impolite to keep people waiting.
But I must have been followed here.
Sally, look, stop illustrating a point with that gun. It might go off.
I don't care.
But then I'd bleed.
But where can I go? I've got to hide.
Well, try the kitchen.
All right.
Oh, come on in. It's open house tonight.
Well, my old pal, Fats
I am not.
Boylan.
Although I'm beginning to waver. Perhaps I am. Simon, the split personality. Who are you?
Well, Joe Hudson. You remember your old pal, Hudson?
Hudson. Well, I must admit you look like a hornet, but your lines aren't as nice. Look, if I'm your old pal, why don't I know you?
Oh, that's easy. We never met personally.
Well, how else can you meet? Ignore that. But if we haven't met personally or otherwise, how can I be your pal?
Oh, I was just being friendly. Besides, you got something for me.
I have?
Great little kidder, ain't you, Fats? Ain't he, pal?
Now I feel better. I'm a pal, too.
Look, I wish I deserved your delighted choice.
Look,
but...
just leave me have the stuff, and then I'll get...
Stuff again. What stuff?
Am I going to have trouble with you?
The door behind you is open. Why don't you use it, huh? In that way, nobody will have any trouble.
I'll use it after.
After what?
Such like that, huh? Ever see one of these before?
I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you, but the answer is yes, I have.
Good. Then you know how it works. It shoots bullets at guys. Guys who get bullets shot at them have a habit of dying.
Really? Well, then perhaps you'd better not shoot that gun at me.
I won't. So gimme.
So I ain't got. Well, that is
you ain't got.
Thanks, Louis.
Basic, I ain't a patient man. Hand the stuff over, or
I don't have any stuff.
Or you get shot.
I'd bleed.
Who cares?
I do. I hoped you might. However...
This could be a stall. This could be trouble, so you...
You can't shoot him.
Why not?
It's against the law. I read it in the papers. It's against the law.
Yeah, I believe you.
Oh, well, so that's okay.
Yeah, but I like doing things against the law.
Oh, well, you could go to jail.
I already been there.
Well, for shooting somebody, they'll hang you or something.
If somebody told them.
Well, I would.
You would, huh?
I would.
So maybe I'd better shoot you first.
Well, I wouldn't want to deprive Mr. Templar of the privilege.
Well, Fats, it's your last chance.
Oh, not that phrase. Also, I still don't know...
So it looks like I'm going to break a law. Hey, who did that?
You did, you dope.
I did not. This here's a plan. But you won't get away with it.
Goodbye, Mr. Hudson.
Mr. Templar, who made with the artillery?
It must have been Sally. She's in the kitchen.
She can stay there.
She saved our lives, Louis.
Yeah, but maybe by now she's found out she likes to shoot guns.
Let's hope not.
Hello.
It was nice of you to frighten Mr. Hudson off.
I did?
You did.
I didn't hit anybody?
No.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Hey, I've got her.
She's out cold.
Come on, up. Put her on the couch. Yeah. Come on. Up. Mm-hmm.
It's a little late, but
Somebody ought to mention she is not a bad-looking dish.
You've mentioned it.
Looking for smelling salts in our bag?
No, identification. Huh. Here's a driver's license. Her name is Sally Walters. Address 49 Arden Drive. Social Security card. She's the secretary.
That's what I need. Take it back.
She's coming, too. Better put the bag back.
Yeah, but keep the gun, though. There's still some bullets in it.
No, we don't want her to know we went through her bag.
We're ashamed of ourselves?
We're going to pay her a visit.
She ain't home.
But she will be after she leaves here, and then perhaps we can find out what keeps the home fires burning.
Sally was in kind of a hurry leaving us.
So she was.
Mr. Templar, don't look right, Santa Claus chasing a blonde.
I'm not chasing her.
Technicalities will get you no place. Hey, this must be it. 49. What is she a secretary of? The Treasury?
I suspect this is where she works, Louis.
She works overtime, huh?
Yeah, and probably sleeps in. Come on.
Yeah. I hope that nobody is peeking because they'll think Santa Claus is off schedule.
I think perhaps I can manage without the whiskers.
Yeah.
Ouch!
Now you look like an imposter.
Will you ring Louis?
Okay. You know, this is the type house I got a feeling Santa Claus would have to use the service entrance.
Yes.
I'm Simon Templar.
You are?
I am.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Mr. Templar, all butlers are like him?
I doubt it. I think he's been practicing.
Haw.
Haw?
Well, good night, then.
I think not.
Would you mind removing your shoe from the door?
I would.
You might at least have shined it.
Humphrey, whoever is it at this time of night?
No one, madam.
Oh, but such an interesting-looking no one. Santa Claus, you've lost your whiskers.
I haven't. They're right here in my pocket.
How nice.
Actually, my name is Simon Templar.
I'm Carla Worth.
This is Louis.
Hi. Oh, I mean...
Hi.
Be kind to the peasants type.
Did you want to see me?
Now that I've seen you, yes.
Well, come in then.
Thank you.
But, madam...
Humphrey, go away.
Yes, madam.
Humphrey's such a problem sometimes. Shall we? Nice?
Yeah. Fire in the fireplace, books on the bookshelves, port in that decanter.
Yes, would you like some?
No, thank you. I just wanted to be sure the accessories were all correct. Someday, maybe I'll find some other wine besides port in a decanter. I dream.
Simon, are you the one who found them?
It's beginning again.
Found what?
My jewels, of course.
Have they been lost?
Simon, they were stolen. You know that, don't you?
Should I?
I've heard of the saint, Simon. I didn't know he was also a Santa Claus.
Oh, it's a fleeting impulse. When were your jewels stolen?
This afternoon. You see, Claude, my husband, that is, bought me them for Christmas.
Santa Claus.
Louis.
Sorry.
We decided to have the party this afternoon. We thought it'd be nice to have a quiet eve, so we did. The jewels were in quite a large box. There were quite a lot of them.
And?
Claude had hired a Santa Claus, but before the party was over, Santa Claus had disappeared. So had the jewels.
Well, there must have been some precautions.
Oh, there were several detectives. But the Santa Claus said he was going out to get some air while the party was on. He never came back. But he didn't have the jewels on him. The box was locked, and it was too large for the detectives not to have noticed.
I see. The name of the man hired to play Santa Claus was, of course,
Fats Moreland. And who may you be?
Claude, this is Simon Templar.
I
And
know.
Louis.
I know neither of them. Snoops, obviously. Get rid of them.
Claude likes to behave as though he were an emperor on occasion.
The box wasn't found anywhere in the house?
The jewel box, no.
The jewels were insured?
Naturally. It's none of your affair. I shall speak severely to Humphrey. He should never have let you in.
I let them in, darling.
So now he's going to speak severely to her.
We'll go quietly, except, Mr. Worth, what is Fats Boylan's address?
I have no idea. Good night.
Good night, Simon, and I'm sorry.
So am I.
I'll show you out.
Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow.
Pronounced Carla Worth.
Yeah. What do we do now, Santa Claus?
We get into your nice, clean cab and... Hey, wait a minute, Louis. Now we're going to find out what became of Sally.
Simon,
Well, good evening, Sally.
I overheard. Fat's address is 17 Beale Street.
17 Beale.
Yes, I've got to get right back to the house before anybody notices. Goodbye.
An awful short visit.
But long enough.
Now we're going to visit Mr. Boylan?
I think so.
I hope he ain't so handy with a gun as the rest of these characters.
He may be, he may not be.
Now I'm all cheered up.
But there's one thing I'm sure he isn't.
What's that?
Fat.
Quite a change from the Waits dump. Now this is a dump.
Yeah, and Mr. Boylan would seem to be shy.
Mr. Templar, you said something about the one thing he wouldn't be was fat. Why, because he was called Fats?
Not exactly. Louis, I'm worried.
Hey, the door was open.
Yes.
Maybe that means our bird has flown?
Maybe. Come on, let's go in.
Okay. I ain't usually so poetical, but the light's on.
Yes.
And the room looks funny. Looks like a hurricane came to stay for dinner.
And remained for 6 months.
Somebody was looking for a jewel box?
And someone obviously didn't find it. The extent of the search indicates that. Nothing was left untouched.
It's a funny smell in this room, you know. A couple of funny smells.
Yeah. One's perfume and the other...
Gunpowder. Huh?
Gunpowder.
That's why I ain't been looking behind any pieces of furniture.
It really wasn't very far to look, Louis.
Huh?
He's behind the daybed.
Fats?
Fats, Louis.
He ain't doing so good?
He's dead.
Oh.
And Louis...
Yeah?
He wasn't fat.
Mr. Templar?
Yes, Louis?
We're being followed.
Since
we got out of Boylan's place.
Oh, that's interesting. Louis, stop the cab.
That'll make it easier for whoever's following us.
Exactly what I want.
Even on Christmas Eve, this shouldn't happen. Now what?
We get out. Don't look behind you. Start walking.
Here is a nice, lonely street. Everybody else is home hanging up stockings. I wouldn't mind hanging up stockings myself. Who do you think it is?
I think it's our friend Hudson.
Oh, I just lost 5 pounds. You mean the guy that was chasing Sally, who was all ready to shoot us until she made the explosion?
Neat reminder.
Oh, you think he wants our money or our life?
Possibly.
What kind of an answer is that?
In here, quickly.
Here. Mr. Templar, this here alley is full of garbage cans.
It's also dark.
You don't have to see garbage cans to know they're around. Hudson?
Yes. Good evening, Hudson.
What?
Don't turn around. I've got a gun on you.
Hey, I don't like it.
Louis, take Mr. Hudson's gun away from him.
Okay. I got it, Mr. Templar.
Good. Aim it at him.
Hey, now, wait a minute. You can't shoot me with my own gun.
Why not?
That ain't tactful.
What other gun could I shoot you with?
Your own. Hey, you mean you ain't got a... Oh, mister, you were a liar.
And on Christmas Eve, too. Hudson, who hired you to follow Sally and me?
It was my own idea.
Louis, Mr. Hudson isn't being friendly.
He ain't, huh?
He ain't. Therefore...
Hey, now, don't lose your heads, fellas.
We've lost patience with him, Louis.
We have?
Shoot him, Louis. He's beginning to bore me.
He's beginning to... I should shoot him?
Yes.
Fatal?
Fatal.
Okay. Except I don't know what my wife and 6 kids are going to say.
You haven't got a wife and 6 kids.
Now, wait a minute, please.
Louis, we're being cruel, prolonging Mr. Hudson's agony. Put him out of it.
Now, wait a minute. I'll...
Who hired you?
Mrs. Worth. Mrs. Carla Worth.
You quite sure?
Strike me dead. That is, don't strike me dead. Look, if she didn't, why would I say she did?
You have a point there. But why should she have wanted you to follow Sally?
Well, she had an idea. Her husband and Sally were kind of,
kind of decorating their own little tree together.
I couldn't put it more tactful.
I see. So if you got enough divorce evidence, Mrs. Worth could hold up her husband for plenty of alimony.
No.
Oh,
Mrs. Worth is the babe with the dough. Mr. Worth is a very well-educated bum.
Indeed. It's interesting. Louis, let me have the gun.
Yeah, here. Wait, I thought I told you the truth.
I'm sure you did.
Mr. Templar, that's gratitude?
It's necessity.
Oh.
We need him out of the way for a little while. He's out of the way. Now,
Yeah?
Now we're going to find out who else knew that Fats Boylan was thin.
You know, if we visited often enough, I might even get accustomed to this joint.
You might also start confusing yourself with Grant. Good evening, Humphrey.
I'm sorry the family have retired for the night.
Well, it is late, I know.
I wish to retire myself.
Why, Humphrey, you don't look 65.
Good night, sir.
Aren't you going to ask us in?
No.
Why, Humphrey, I thought you and I were going to sing Christmas carols together.
Let go of me.
Shut the door, Louis.
Okay.
I shall complain.
All right, but not now.
Mr. Templar, I'm going to wear that gun out hitting people over the head with it.
And I couldn't have him warn anyone we're here.
Why, we're going to burgle the joint?
In a way.
Huh?
And a kinder description would be search the place, Louis.
Oh, for what?
Oddly enough, something that can't be seen or touched.
Sounds like a ghost.
Yes, and in a way it is. The ghost of a murderer.
It's the night before Christmas, all right, but a creature is stirring. A couple of creatures, us.
We've covered all the rooms on the other landing. Therefore, the bedroom should be here. And therefore, this should be someone's bedroom. Let's go in.
We're sleepy?
Now, if I can open the door softly enough and look in. Move right through the window. Yes. The dressing room. Door beyond would be the bedroom proper.
Proper is not a word we're in any position to throw around.
We'll have to go in to the dressing room. Come on, Louis.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Louis. Inhale.
Mr. Templar, I don't usually take breathing exercises in the middle of the night.
Louis.
All right. I'm inhaling.
Well?
Perfume.
Mm-hmm. Familiar?
I could learn to love it, but no.
Well, then out we go.
You didn't care for that perfume.
It didn't tell me anything.
What do you want perfume should tell you?
Who killed Fats Boylan?
Another bedroom. We go in?
Naturally.
For a bachelor, that ain't the word you should have used. I'm beginning to get worried about this. Supposing somebody screamed.
Hold yourself together, Louis.
Okay. After all, like the poet says, strong heart never won fair maiden.
You mean faint heart.
All right, so for dinner I'll eat dog food.
Now. Another dressing room. Well?
Hey, Mr. Templar.
Yes. The same perfume we noticed.
Uh-oh.
Don't be frightened.
Simon, what are you doing in here?
Louis and I have been testing perfumes.
It's the middle of the night. You awakened me.
I'm sorry. I'm even sorrier about something else.
What's that?
The perfume you use is very distinctive, Sally.
I supposed to say thanks?
No. Because the last place Louis and I noticed it was in Fats Boylan's room. Minutes after he'd been killed.
Oh.
Not good, Sally.
You're making all this up, or...
No. This bottle of perfume will be evidence.
But I didn't kill Boylan. You must be joking about that.
I don't think a jury would find it funny. You knew about Boylan stealing the jewels. You must have helped him.
I didn't.
But then you found yourself being trailed by Hudson, who'd been hired by Mrs. Worth. You were afraid he'd discover the connection between you and Boylan. That's why you came to my apartment.
No.
Oh, yes. You hoped I'd throw Hudson off, perhaps frighten him. In the meanwhile, you could get to Boylan, get the jewels from him.
That isn't true.
But when you got to Boylan's place, you found him already dead, and the jewels gone.
I didn't.
It would be much better for you that way.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't be liable to a first-degree murder charge.
But there were detectives here while the party was going on. Boylan couldn't have stolen the jewels. They saw him leave. He didn't have them.
He did have them. He was playing Santa Claus, and he was a thin man. Santa Claus is, as Louis pointed out to me earlier tonight, are fat. Therefore, Boylan entered this house wearing padding underneath his costume. He left it with a large jewel box in place of the padding. That's how he did it, Sally.
You're smart.
You found Boylan. You knew his address. Therefore, you'd hired him in the first place. And therefore, also, a jury would believe you'd killed him unless you tell us who did.
Well, all right. I'll tell you.
There's really no need, my dear.
Oh, Claude.
Hey, Mr. Templar, tell him to point the gun someplace else.
Mr. Worth, point that gun someplace else.
I prefer this direction. You were saying, Mr. Templar, about the jewels.
The jewels were insured. Therefore, you, Mr. Worth, arranged to have them stolen.
Indeed.
Indeed. In that way, you could retain the jewels, the insurance money as well, and not worry very much whether or not your wife divorced you. Clever.
Boylan is dead.
How true. You had to see to that, didn't you? Otherwise, he might have blackmailed you for the rest of your life, or for whatever money you got out of the entire crooked deal.
I can see two other deaths. Yours, your friend.
And Sally? You going to kill her, too?
That depends, I should think, on Sally.
Claude, I never knew you intended to kill anyone.
There's no need to play the ingenue quite so strenuously, my dear. You were in on most of it.
But not murder.
I'm afraid Mr. Templar's pessimism is justified. I shall have to include you. But however did you get onto her, Templar?
Her perfume. To be precise, this perfume.
Well, you got him in the eye.
Yeah, I hope this gets him someplace more effective.
Mr. Templar, the trail of unconscious bodies you're leaving behind you tonight, if laid end to end,
Yes, Louis.
would look terrible.
Simon,
Yes, Carla?
you've been very sweet. Even without your whiskers, you've been sort of a Santa Claus to me. May I?
With pleasure.
Well, I never knew Santa Claus could kiss like that.
Santa Claus is no saint.
Yes?
Oh. Hello, Louis.
Mr. Templar, you better put on your whiskers. You've forgotten all about Mrs. Winterbottom?
Mrs. Oh, well, the hour is past midnight. The tots have undoubtedly tottered off to bed by now. Louis, you may tell Mrs. Winterbottom.
I know. That the saint ain't no Santa Claus.
You have been listening to another transcribed adventure of The Saint, the Robin Hood of modern crime. Now, here is our star, Vincent Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of us who live in the United States are aware of the spiritual values of American life, our factories and machines and luxuries. But there is another side to American life, a side made up of spiritual values. Our country was founded upon faith in God. In the Declaration of Independence, it states that men were endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Thus, religious faith is part of the very foundation of American democracy, and one of our most precious national heritages is freedom of worship. By exercising this freedom, you and your families can enjoy the spiritual pleasures that come with church or synagogue attendance. Moreover, your religious leaders stand ready to give you their help, whether you need personal or family guidance. And if you suffer the loneliness natural to a newcomer to this country, the churches of your faith will welcome you. We all know that without spiritual values, the other advantages of American life have little meaning. Without faith, the family and the community become unstable. Without faith, the individual denies himself the peace and guidance of religion. The doors of your churches and synagogues are open to you. The freedom to worship as you please is yours. And so America's religious organizations invite you to find yourself through faith and to come to church this week. And may I wish you all a wonderful Christmas, and for the world, peace in all the years to come. This is Vincent Price inviting you to join us again next week at this same time for another exciting adventure of the Saint. Good night.
This Adventure of the Saint was written by Louis Vittes. Our cast included Mary Shipp as Sally and Betty Lou Gerson as Carla. Hy Averback was Hudson, Ted Osborne, Claude. The butler, Stanley Farrar. Louis is played by Larry Dotkin. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris, is a James L. Safier production and is directed by Helen Mack. Vincent Price is soon to be seen co-starring in RKO's production of His Kind of Woman. All you Saint fans will be glad to know that the Saint comic books are on sale at all newsstands. Your announcer, Don Stanley. 3 chimes mean good times on NBC. For your Christmas Eve listening pleasure, there's another broadcast of NBC's Sunday hour-and-a-half extravaganza, The Big Show. There's a whole Christmas stocking full of stars, including Tallulah, Jimmy Durante, Ed Wynn, Charles Boyer, Robert Merrill, and many more. Tonight also means your weekly visit with the Harris family on the Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show. Be sure to hear this special Christmas program later today on NBC.
Happy holiday, happy listening. Happy holiday, happy listening. NBC wishes you a season of good cheer. A merry, merry Christmas and a happier New Year.
That was The Saint with Santa Claus Ain't No Saint, as originally heard on NBC Radio, 7:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve, 1950. And this was the mental note I suggested earlier you make, because we're going to speed up 2 hours later at 9:30 p.m. on the same network, NBC, on the very same night, Christmas Eve, 1950, to an episode from Tales of the Texas Rangers. 2 men pretending to be charity Santas hold up a bank on Christmas Eve. So from just 2 hours later at 9:30 p.m. from the episode of The Saint that we just listened to on NBC Radio on the very same night of Christmas Eve, 1950, here is Tales of the Texas Rangers with Christmas Present.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Joel McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. Tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, Christmas Present.
It is 2 p.m., December 21st, 4 days before Christmas in the Depression year of 1931. On a city street corner in North Texas, a man dressed as Santa Claus suddenly leaves his post beside a large red pot labeled Help the Poor. Shivering with cold, he enters the newly opened building of the Panhandle Equity Bank and approaches the bank guard.
Say, mister, you mind if I stay in here a few minutes, warm up a little?
I sure don't. I've been watching you through the window. Don't know how you stood it as long as you did.
Oh, this Santa Claus outfit's pretty warm at first, but then the cold sort of creeps in on you.
How long do they expect you to stand out in that?
Oh, 8 to 2. 6 hours, that's all.
Well, it's 2 o'clock right now. You can go home.
Not till my relief man shows up, I can't. Can't leave till he gets here. Some money in the pot out there.
Oh. Well, why don't you wait right in here till you see him?
I was hoping you'd say that, because I'm sure... Oh, there he is now. Just drove up in a car.
Oh, he can't leave a car parked there in front of the bank. There's a time limit on parking.
Well, I think he's just wondering why I'm not there. I better go out and... Oh, he sees me. He's coming in.
Howdy.
Howdy. Was wondering when you get here. God let me come in and warm up.
I hope your Santa Claus suit is warmer than his. We'll be closed up by the time you need warming.
I don't think I'll get very cold. I got a Colt 45 in my pocket, pointed right for your belly. Now, don't move.
Oh, don't move, he said. Keep your hand away from your gun.
You guys are pulling the stick up.
No kidding. You figured that all out by yourself, stupid?
Let's make it a nice, quiet stick up, huh? Just walk to the rear of the bank with us, take us through the door to the money in the vault. Now, go on.
You'll never get away with this.
You just trying to attract any attention. You'll never live to know whether we're doing or not.
All right. Open that door.
The girl by the desk has to open it. It's button control.
Well, tell her you won't in.
Miss Keene.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lovett. Your Santa Claus friend's coming in with you?
Yeah.
We're so busy, I didn't even notice it. Something wrong, Mr. Lovett? You look kind of sick.
You'd be more than sick if you let out one yell.
They got guns in their pockets, Miss Keene.
Watch your mouth, sister. Nobody else can see us now. Take his gun.
I've got it.
Now, sister, whether he lives or not is up to you, understand?
What do you want me to do?
Open the cages of those money trays. Get to it.
All right.
You got the sack. Tell her what to put in it and stuff it into your jacket when you're through.
Right.
And remember, sis, one yap and this jerk gets it.
All right. Go on. Come on, now, stuff it in the sack.
What are you going to do when you leave?
Come on, faster.
What do you mean?
We'll give you a chance to get away. I mean, we won't yell or anything until you're gone. Honest.
Oh, yeah, that's real nice of you. Maybe you ought to be wearing the Santa Claus suit instead of me. You think I'm going to fall for a... Hurry up, will you? One of the bank executives is heading back here.
All right. I'm almost through. As soon as I get it in my... Hey,
what are you
doing back here, Lovett? Why aren't you out front?
These Santa Claus fellas, Mr. Peabody, just wanted to...
Well, what's the other one doing in the vault there? Miss Keene, what do...
Oh! You're going to answer this question later, when and if he comes to. And congratulations on your self-control. You're liable to get medals for saving your own lives.
All right, let's go. I got
All right, let's leave these people the quiet way.
Oh!
A statewide alarm was put out to all law enforcement agencies in a matter of minutes, but the perpetrators of the Santa Claus stick-up had vanished. Texas Ranger Jace Pearson, closest unit to the scene of the crime, was requested to investigate.
The chief of police gave me the general details. I'd like to get your story firsthand.
Well, I saw the guard take them through there, Ranger, and I went back to see why he was leaving his post on the bank floor, and that's when I got hit.
You have any idea how big they were?
No, I don't. I was too excited.
I see. What's your name?
Leon Peabody. I'm second vice president.
Now, how about the girl, Miss Keene, and the guard, Lovett?
Both of them were knocked out, too. Miss Keene finally came to, and we sent her home, but they took Lovett to the hospital. He wasn't in good shape.
Skull fracture?
They don't know.
How come you stayed around? That's a nasty bump you've got.
I feel it, too. Plenty. Ooh. But I knew the police would need whatever information there is, so I stayed.
Yeah, you better sit down.
Oh, thanks.
You think you could recognize either of the hold-up men?
Dressed the way they were? I'm afraid not.
It's a cinch they chucked those Santa Claus suits right after they left here. I hope they left a few fingerprints.
Both of them were wearing gloves.
You get a tally on how much they made off with?
We're running a tape on it. We'll know in a couple of minutes.
Men who pulled this job worked pretty smoothly. They seem to know the setup behind the partitions there. Have any of your employees ever been in any trouble?
Those men weren't employees of the bank.
No. I know they weren't. But somebody inside could have supplied them with your new layout. Helped them plan the job.
Well, sir, all of our employees have been with us for at least a year, and we haven't taken on any new ones since we moved over here 2 months ago.
Mr. Peabody.
Oh, yes, Donnelly. Is that the rundown?
Yes, sir. 63,800. And we've got serial numbers on some of the larger bills.
Good. That'll help if they try to pass any. I'll take a copy of that list. Police can alert the other banks and merchants. We'll get numbers out on the statewide and interstate.
We may run down some more serial numbers when we cross-check deposits.
That'll be fine. I think you ought to go home now, Mr. Peabody. We can reach you there if you're needed.
Oh, thank you. I guess I shouldn't even Think about myself, though. I'm a bachelor, but the God love it, he's got a wife and 3 children. Yeah, pretty rotten Christmas present for them if he doesn't pull through.
I paid a call on Miss Keene, the girl who'd been slugged, but she was in a state of shock and hysteria. By nightfall, all possible angles had been checked, and we still didn't have a lead. My boss, Ranger Captain Stinson, flew in, and I met him at the airport and drove him to town.
You talked to all the welfare agencies that have Santa Clauses stationed on the streets?
Yeah, and every man they have checked out clean. It was a phony setup, Captain, even though one of the bandits spent the whole day right out in the corner outside the bank.
Well, that was smart. Got the bank guard used to seeing him.
Yeah. City police are checking to see if they can find out where the suits came from and who got them.
Good idea. How's the bank guard doing?
Love it. I checked the hospital. He's still out. No fracture, but they can't bring him around. He may have...
KTXA to Unit 10.
That's yours, Jace.
Yeah. Unit 10. Go ahead, KTXA.
City police report stolen car found in alley off Crockett Street between Maple and Lolly. Maybe car used in Panhandle Equity Bank robbery. Police chief requests your assistance.
10-4. Proceeding there immediately.
10-4.
Unit 10, clear.
KTXA Austin.
We better get there fast. This may be the break we need.
Here it is, Rangers. Abandoned in the alley. Prowl cars spotted it and checked the license on the stolen car list.
When was it reported stolen, Chief?
Early this morning, but the owner says it might have been missing since yesterday. He's been away.
You check on him?
Yep, he's clear. That's where he said he was.
What makes you fellas think this is the car?
Found this on the floor, under the seat. Big red button.
Off a Santa suit, all right. I'm going to climb in behind the wheel for a second. Ask one of the men in the prowl car to flash his light this way.
Sure. Let's have a spotlight here, will you, boys?
Okay, Chief.
That do, Ranger?
Yeah, that's fine. Have any of your men moved this rear vision mirror, Chief?
Nope.
How about this front seat? You slide it back to get that button you found?
No, just saw it under there and reached in and got it.
What are you trying to figure, Jace?
The last fellow who drove this car was pretty big, about an inch or inch and a half taller than I am.
What makes you think so?
Because the seat's all the way back where it would be for a tall driver. And I have to raise myself a bit to get a clear view through the rear vision mirror.
Hey, that's good thinking, Jace.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't touch anything. Maybe he left the car just like it was when he stole it.
I'll give odds against that. A man who's getting away from a bank stick-up wants to know what's coming behind him. All roads out of the city had been under watch since the report of the robbery, so the men we were after figured to be close by. But all we knew was that one of them was about 6'3". In the morning, we made a routine check with police headquarters.
Morning, Rangers.
Morning, Chief.
Morning, Chief. Your men come across anything?
I'm just going to check through this report. Tells us the location of just about every Santa Claus suit in town. All of them belong to organizations, use them for their Christmas parties. Because once in a while, they let some private individual borrow them for a kid party or something, as if they put up deposit money.
You got a list of the places that have loaned suits out and who got them?
That top paper. I was just starting to check it. Look if you like.
Thanks.
Looks like we might be adding a murder charge to the armed robbery, Captain.
The bank guard dead?
Not yet, but it looks bad. They're operating for a blood clot on the brain. He's,
Wait a minute.
What is it, Jace?
I think we've got a boy to talk to. Look at this list. 2 suits borrowed from 2 different organizations, but both borrowed by the same man, Anthony Ross, 124 Petagrosa Street.
Say, that's worth looking into, Jace. Come on. Let's pick him up.
You are listening to Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson. We continue now with tonight's case, Christmas Present, an authentic story from the files of the Texas Rangers.
The home of Anthony Ross at 124 Petagrosa Street turned out to be a rundown shack on the outskirts of town. A small boy and girl, not dressed well enough against the cold, stopped playing with a mongrel dog as we drove up. They stared at us while we went up the rickety porch, the dog barking at our heels.
It's all right, boy. It's all right. Take it easy. Good pup. There's a good... Yeah, what... Oh, Texas Rangers.
You Anthony Ross?
Yeah? We'd like to come in. Oh, sure. Annie, you and Jim take the dog in the back of the house and play there. Look at those suit boxes, Jace.
Yeah, see them.
What do you want to see me about?
We can start with those boxes on the table. What's in them?
I don't know. Just a couple of packages. That's all. They ain't mine. You better open them up, Jace.
Yeah.
No. Wait a minute. I tell you, they ain't mine. You got no right to... This search warrant says we have. Search warrant? Now, look. Now, those things ain't stolen. They were rented.
Yeah. Couple of Santa suits, all right, Captain. And look, a button missing from the jacket of this one.
I don't know what this is all about. Why are you coming...
Maybe we can refresh your memory. The guard you slugged at the Panhandle Equity Bank isn't expected to live.
What? Who was wearing the other suit, Ross? Who was your partner? What are you guys doing to me? I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about the $63,000 stick-up you and somebody else pulled yesterday. And since you're about 5'10", I can tell you that your partner's about 6'3".
Rangers, you're making a mistake. I don't even know anything about a holdup.
The button missing from this suit was found in your getaway car, the one your partner drove.
It wasn't me. I tell you, I didn't even know what kind of costumes were in them boxes. They ain't mine. Then where'd you get them? I picked them up at a couple of places yesterday morning.
You say you picked them up, and you're trying to tell us you don't know what's in the boxes.
I picked them up for somebody else.
They were rented out in your name.
The woman ordered them in my name.
What woman?
The one who hired me to pick them up. That's a pretty phony story, Ross. Who was this woman you're talking about? What's her name? I don't know. I don't even know.
You better come with us, Ross.
No. You got to listen to me. Please listen. You got to believe me. I was in town early yesterday morning. She come right up to me on the street. I was pulling my kid's old wagon along, trying to find some junk I might sell. You sure you don't want to think this story over before you go any further? She asked me if I wanted to earn $1 running a couple of errands. I said, sure. A buck could give my kids a meal for a change. She asked me my name and address, and I told her, and then she told me to wait while she went into a booth and made some phone calls. When she come out, she sent me to 2 different clubs, told me there'd be costumes and packages. She had them left in my name to avoid confusion, she said.
You didn't think that was funny?
Mister, all I could think about was earning that $1. She gave me money, deposit money for the costumes, and told me to come back and meet her with the stuff on that same corner. Where were you at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon? I was looking around for a junk again for a couple hours after I delivered the packages, and then I guess at 2 o'clock I was walking back home from town.
It's a long walk to here in this weather.
Cost of a bus ride will buy a loaf of bread for the kids you saw outside. Is that a crime? What's it to you if I walk my feet off to feed my kids? All right, Ross. That was a nice act. But there's a big hole in it. You say you delivered the Santa Claus suits to a woman you didn't know, but you've still got 'em. Yeah, I got 'em. They're going to mean a good Christmas. Yeah, but you're not going to believe what I tell you. The woman came here last night, drove up in a car, woke me up. She said she was leaving town in a hurry. They didn't have time to take the costumes back herself, and if I'd take them back, I could keep the deposits. $15 each. Yeah, but you're not going to believe that, are you? You better get your coat. Will you give me a chance to ask one of the neighbors to watch out for my kids? I'm afraid you'll be gone too long for that. I'm sorry, but we'll have to take him into the juvenile home. Oh. I guess they'll get better care there than I've been able to give. I'll get my coat.
Ross, you been doing any painting around here?
Painting?
This place looked like it ever saw paint.
What made you ask that, Jace?
I just noticed this inside the leg of this Santa Claus suit. Paint blob. Looks fresh.
Well, how come it's inside the leg, not outside?
I don't know. That's something we'll have to figure. This is the large size suit. Must have been worn by the big boy we're looking for. The captain and I did a job we hated, dropping the Ross kids off at the juvenile home. Sometimes it's the only thing to do. They cried for their father. Always makes something inside you cry a little with them. We took Ross to the jail and locked him up.
Well, that seems to be it, Rangers. By the time he comes up for trial, he should be ready to name his accomplice. That is, if we don't find him before then.
I'd go along with that, Chief, if we'd found any money on him or in the house, even a few dollars.
Kids got under your skin, huh, Jason?
They got under yours, too, Captain. You know it.
Yeah, but we got to remember, that bank guard has kids, too.
You got any late reports on him from the hospital?
Man stationed there says the operation is over. Don't know how it's going to come out yet, though.
You might as well go over there and check with the doctors, Jace. I got to get back to company headquarters.
Do me a favor, then. You're heading toward Austin. Take the Santa outfits with you and have them sent on to the lab. Get an analysis of that paint in the trousers. Maybe some traces in the boots, too.
Well, how come the boots?
They're made to go on over regular shoes. I figured that paint stain on the inside of the pants came from a blob of paint on the shoe of the man who put them on.
I see. All right, Jace, you want to know the content of the paint and see if lab can run down the source, is that it?
Yeah.
You working up to some kind of a lead?
Maybe. A few things I'm trying to fit together. Maybe they won't fit. If they do, though, you'll hear from me. I went over to the hospital and checked with the doctors, but the outcome was still in doubt. The guard's wife was there, face twisted with worry and fear. There was nothing I could do to help. Oh, I got some sleep. Then in the morning, I went back to see the police chief.
Oh, Ranger, I'm glad you dropped in. I just had a long-distance call from your lab headquarters at Austin. Report on that paint.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I wrote it all down. Paint is manufactured right here in town. Brand name is Light Glow.
Light Glow, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Can you get a list of local painting contractors who use it?
Well, I reckon just about all of them do. It's good paint, and this wouldn't hardly be Texas if we didn't deal with a local outfit, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later.
Where you going?
Over to the Panhandle Equity Bank. Mr. Peabody, do you know who painted this bank before you opened?
Well, there was a contract for the building, included the painting. I guess that was done on a subcontract.
Can you find out from the contractor?
Sure, but do you mind my asking why?
I told you the day of the robbery. Everything was too well planned. Like the men who did it knew the inside of the bank.
Yes, I remember you saying that. You think the painters may have?
That's what I think.
But why not some of the construction men?
I've got a reason for being interested in painters. Check it for me, will you? He checked. Contractor gave the name of the painters. 2 men, Eddie West and Martin Poggin. They'd been working the day of the robbery, he said, at a house on the north side of town. I went out to the house to see the owner.
Why, yes, Ranger. They worked here all day that day. I remember we heard the report of the robbery on the radio.
They were both here all day?
Yes.
Didn't even go out to eat?
Had their lunches with them.
Kind of smelly when the house gets painted. Most women usually get out of the way.
I wanted to watch them, so I was here every minute to see they didn't get sloppy. I like things neat.
I see. Well, thanks, ma'am. I'm sorry I bothered you.
Why are you asking about them, Ranger?
Nothing important. Not as long as you say they were here. Goodbye, ma'am. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, the same to you, Ranger. Merry Christmas.
She was the alibi for Eddie West and Martin Poggin. But she was too nervous about answering a few simple questions, nervous enough to make me wonder. I went back to the jail, got Anthony Ross out in my custody, and drove him to the north side of town. All right, get out, Ross. We're going in here for a minute.
Why? What are you trying to frame now?
I just want you to meet somebody.
Well, back again, Ranger. I thought we'd...
That's her. Ranger, that's the woman
Who is he?
Who is this man?
You ought to remember me, lady. My kids are in juvenile home on account of you, and I've been in jail.
I never saw you before in my whole life.
Tell him the truth. Tell him before I...
Hold it, Ross.
Take him away from here. Go away, both of you.
Ranger, I got those costumes for her. For her!
You're a liar!
That word fits somebody all right. Can I come in and have a look around, ma'am?
What for? What do you want?
I want to check over the painting job to see if it's just new painting or if there's some new plaster under it someplace.
You can't come in. You have no right.
The boys you're alibiing for must have come back here after they cracked the bank, because you must have picked them up in your car after they ditched the one they're using.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wouldn't carry the money on them. Did they cover it up here, safe under fresh plaster and paint until it cools off?
No.
I can call for a search warrant and wait till a crew comes and tears this place apart. It'll go better for you if you don't try to cover.
The money isn't here.
Well, come on. Where is it?
It's here, all right. In that wall. Behind the picture.
Come on, Ross. Now, which one's your boyfriend? Hogan or West?
Eddie. West. He said we'd get married. Go to Europe next year.
You'll all go someplace next year, but it won't be Europe. West about 6'3".
Yes. How did you know?
I got an early Christmas present. Somebody sent me a crystal ball. As soon as I call the police and dig out that bank money, you're coming with us.
Ranger, I'm clear now, ain't I?
Looks that way, Ross, but you'll have to go back to jail for a while and be checked out by the local police. That won't take any longer than it'll take me to pick up Eddie West and Martin Poggin. I made my call, then took West's girlfriend and Anthony Ross back to jail. Poggin and West were playing it smart, working right up to Christmas Eve like a couple of house painters would be doing. I found out where they were working, a loft of a warehouse. Local police covered the building while I went in.
Eddie, who's that?
Who came in?
Probably the watchman. Watch out for those paint cans.
Don't worry. I see him.
That ain't the watchman's boys, Eddie.
Come out of the shadows where we can see you.
I'm coming. But seeing me isn't going to make you happy.
Eddie, that's the Texas Ranger.
Shut up, Hogan. I got my gun. Hi there, Ranger. Something you want?
Yeah. I want the two men who robbed the Panhandle Equity Bank.
Eddie.
Shut up. What would we know about that, Ranger?
Come down off that scaffold and I'll tell you.
Okay. Marty, lower away.
Too bad you aren't working in a place with a phone. Your girlfriend could have warned you earlier.
Eddie, he knows.
I'll get him.
Keep your hands away.
I'm hurt. I'm bleeding.
I just nicked you when you tried to dig for that gun in your pocket. You're not hurt.
We didn't do nothing, Ranger.
Somebody should have told you that the real Santa Claus gives. He doesn't take. Get up and try this present I've got for you. A pair of handcuffs.
Well, that winds it up for sure, Ranger. Didn't turn out too bad either. Just heard from the hospital. Guard passed the crisis. He's going to be all right.
You couldn't have better news, Chief. Just in time, too. It's getting dark. Christmas Eve. You let Anthony Ross go?
Mm-hmm. About 10 minutes ago. He didn't seem too happy, though. Just like he didn't care. What with his kids in the juvenile home and everything. Judge mightn't even release him if he can't care for him.
Ross didn't have a dime. Not even bus fare. It'd take him a couple hours to walk home.
Oh, why didn't I think?
Well, maybe it's just as well that way. Let me call the judge. And Mr. Peabody, the bank vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Stores will be open late, won't they?
Yeah, sure. Why?
It'll take Ross a long time to get to his house. Maybe we can get some of your boys to help us and change his mind about Christmas. There's Ross. You hear him coming up the walk now?
Mm-hmm. Coming slow. His tail is dragging.
Yeah.
Not that I blame him.
Are the kids asleep?
Yeah. All bundled up in them new blankets. Shh.
What? Ranger. And the chief. The lights. Lights. They're on. The power company turned them off.
Yeah. They sent a man out to turn them on again.
What's all this stuff? Ornaments. Christmas tree. All those toys and things.
Tomorrow's Christmas, Ross. For you and your kids. They're in the bedroom asleep.
My kids. You brought my kids back to me.
Yes, and there's plenty of grub in the kitchen.
And you've got a job. Starting next week at the Panhandle Equity Bank. Just go in and see Mr. Peabody after the holiday. Meanwhile, he sent you a little cash in this envelope. Sort of a Christmas bonus, just like the rest of the employees get. Well, we have to be going. Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas, Ross.
Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas. And God bless you.
Thanks.
God bless you.
On behalf of all of us on Tales of the Texas Rangers, this is Joel McCrae wishing you a very Merry Christmas.
Next week, Joel McCrae in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McCrae is currently seen starring in the Universal International Technicolor production Frenchie. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Shepard Menken, Jim Nusser, Virginia Gregg, Victor Rodman, and Byron Kane. This story was transcribed and adapted by Joel Murcott, and the program was produced and directed by Stacy Keach. This is Hal Gibney speaking.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Monday means music on NBC, and for your Christmas night listening pleasure tomorrow, the voice of Firestone presents soprano Eleanor Stieber in a thrilling selection of Christmas melodies. Next, Jack Parr calls a Marine veteran in Japan on NBC.
That was Tales of the Texas Rangers with Christmas Present, as originally heard Christmas Eve, 1950. I'll be back with more thoughts right after this. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. There is just over a week until Christmas, and with our next Classic Radio Rewind coming out on Christmas Eve next week, our episode will be a special 4-hour podcast of great classic Christmas episodes that you will want to share with family and friends for your Christmas Eve. Next week, we're going to have the Lux Radio Theater's Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol from the Campbell Playhouse, and wrapping it up with A Christmas Sing with Bing. So, gather your friends and family, gather around the fireplace, and have your eggnog and Christmas Eve snacks ready to go, as this will be a 4-hour, star-studded Christmas Eve podcast that you and your family and friends will not want to miss. This is all on next week's podcast, bringing our month-long salute to Christmas to a spectacular end. Right alongside of that is one programming note for next week. On Old Time Radio USA this Christmas Eve, beginning at 6 p.m., is Old Time Radio USA's annual 'Twas the Night Before Christmas special. A 7.5-hour curated selection of classic holiday stories and festive music. Experience enduring tales and cherished melodies that capture the spirit of the season and bring warmth to your Christmas Eve evening. This curated selection includes Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, Christmas Eve at the Front, The Big Show, and A Christmas Sing with Bing. All this is coming up this Christmas Eve, beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, wraps up this edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I hope you come back next week for more Christmas classics as we bring our salute to Christmas to a close. And until next week, for Classic Radio Rewind and the WOTR Radio Network, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network.
For more Classic Radio Rewind and to listen to any of the WOTR radio network stations, go to www.wotrradionetwork.com.